Hi, this is the voice of Heidie Calero with another fascinating economic capsule on the Puerto Rico economy, and this time we are going to talk about the next adjustment plan that is coming for Judge Taylor Swain, Title III, bankruptcy for Puerto Rico, and that is for the Puerto Rico Electric Power Authority. This plan was approved with the bondholders back in 2019, but we are now 2022. It was postponed because of the earthquakes and then COVID-19 in 2020, and now after the debt adjustment plan of the Commonwealth obligations and the employment retirement system, which was recently approved and which will be effective March of 2022. Now PROMESA is turning its attention to the next restructuring plan, which is for the Puerto Rico Electric Power Authority. Don't forget, those of you who like our economic capsules, to subscribe to the voice of Heidie Calero and give us a like in those economic capsules. Well, the first table that you are looking at right now is the restructuring plan with the issue of different bonds to renegotiate that $9 billion in public debt that the Puerto Rico Electric Power Authority has, which cannot pay. So these bonds will be sort of repaying or renegotiating that $9 billion debt, and the bonds A are going to have a haircut of that principal, of that debt, 32.5%. They will last for 40 years and at an interest rate of 5.25%. Let me remind you again, this was 2019. We are in 2022, and all of this can be changed right now, especially interest rates that are coming, that are growing, as the Federal Reserve announced officially that it will have the first interest rate hike now. Bonds B are exempt from income tax. It's 90% haircut of that public debt, 47 years in terms of its maturity, and there will be more or less the midpoint of 7.85%. And bonds B, non-exempt, so you will have to pay taxes on that income that you will be receiving. They are also remaining 90% of that principal, of that distribution that they will be financing for 47 years at a clip of 8.75%. And these two types of bonds, according to the 2019 restructuring plan, said that they would be paid fully only after bonds A within 40 years are paid. I don't know why that difference, I do not know, but anyway, that's something interesting that maybe there might be a chance to fix with a new restructuring plan. And how is that going to be paid? I mean, of course, you and I who reside in Puerto Rico will be paying for the principal and interest on these bonds, what is called the debt service, and it's going to be secured by a transitory charge, which is cents per kilowatt hour, which you are looking at in this second graph. And it starts 2022. If approved this year, there will be an additional charge on top of the tariff that we pay, or the charge for electricity. It's 2.768 cents. That will increase by 2024 to 2.957 cents. The next will be in 2029 at 3.242 cents, and thereafter every year there will be an increase of that transitory charge until 2044, when we will be charging 4.552 cents per kilowatt hour. What does that imply in terms of rate increases? Well, this next graph illustrates, if we look at 2019, on average, taking residential, commercial, and industrial, it's on average 18.8 cents per kilowatt hour. In 2021, that was last year, more or less 21.8 cents per kilowatt hour. And now in 21-22, as of January of 2022, we were welcome the new year with a 16.8% rate hike in the kilowatt hour. So that raised the rates to 25.5 cents per kilowatt hour. And there may be more changes. Every quarter they will be reviewing these tariffs. If we add then, if it starts in 2022, if we add the 2.768 cents of the transitory charge that I mentioned before, that will raise the kilowatt hour to 28.3 cents per kilowatt hour. And if we go forward 2024, the same thing. Let's add, assuming conservatively or optimistically, assuming that it's going to be 25.5 cents, the same rate that we have today. We add then the new charge, transitory charge of 3.0 cents per kilowatt hour, and an additional charge, because there are $4.4 billion in probably unfunded liabilities of the pension system of the Puerto Rico Electric Power Authority. And of course, we will have to pay for those pensions. So additionally, there is 1.6 cents on top of the transitory charge and on top of the electric charge. That raises electricity conservatively to 30 cents per kilowatt hour. We are one of the jurisdictions with the highest electricity charge cost in the nation, and in many compared to many countries. And by 2029, it would be assuming 25.5 cents as the basic electric charge per kilowatt hour. We would add the new charge, transitory charge of 3.4 cents, plus the 1.7 cents of the pensions. That adds to 30.6 cents per kilowatt hour. Who can really adjust to this? Inflation continues rising. It's already in the States 7%, and here, as of November, it was only 3.5%. We know that will continue rising because gas prices and petroleum, the oil prices are continuing to rise. So let's look at what back in 2019 there was a study done by undertaken by Dr. Ramon Cao at the request of the representative and the board of the Puerto Rico Electric Power Authority representing consumers. And they contracted Dr. Cao to say, well, let's analyze, can we have an alternative to this transitory charge? And for this adjustment plan, can we have other alternatives? And he said, well, assuming the certified fiscal plan for the Electric Power Authority as for PROMESA in 2019, he said, with all the risks that are included here, that could represent that GNP back in 2019 was forecasted to be in a recession again, negative 1.5%, and in 2024, negative 2%. PROMESA board had in the fiscal plan of April 2021 forecasted 1.5% for 2022 and negative 0.7% for 2024. Today, the PROMESA board says that it is looking at a new revised certified fiscal plan, and they are more optimistic in terms of the GNP growth, and they say that it's going to be not 1.5%, they're forecasting 2.6%. Well, let's put that on hold. Does it have the impact of these rate increases in terms of the economy? They didn't do it before, so I don't think they have really put this in the mix. And let's look at what happens with inflation. Well, Dr. Cao forecasted that this could represent almost 110% of inflation back in 2019. Well, if we assume that it's 4% now, conservatively, then that would represent price increase of 7.4%, and in 2024 of 8.9%, because it's almost 180% of the rate of the price increases. PROMESA has said we don't know if they are going to be reviewing inflation in the new certified fiscal plan. So we are just representing their April 2021, and they said it was 1.1% and 1.4% in 2024. It is elusive. Those forecasts are really wrong. And worse still, we don't see a connection with all these restructuring plans and what they're really forecasting, or at least recommending in terms of policies. how will this play out? Because these are like black boxes of all these models. We don't know what goes into them. So in order to evaluate them, we need to know the assumptions and we need to know how those models were built. If you like our capsules, don't forget, subscribe to YouTube under the voice of Heidie Calero. And don't forget, the economy is all of us. Until the next capsule.